Evening. Evening. How's it going? Apologies for being a few minutes late. I just had a quick shower. I was feeling a little bit, just feel like, you feel like you need just a really hot shower. It's just one of those days. One of those days. How are we all? How's it going? How is it going? I'm sure it's going to be difficult to have a lot of people on now last Sunday before Christmas. It's going to be, everybody's going to be out and about doing. Hiya, Tracy, how's it going? Let me know if you can hear me. Hi, Jennifer, how's it going? Popping on now. I'm sure it's all. Hiya, Kay, how's it going? Hi, Kai, how are you doing? Hiya, Mike, how's it going? Can you all hear me? Light me up with the likes and love. Can you hear me, Trace? Is everything okay? Evening, Jennifer, how are you? How are we all? Evening, so good to see you. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, people popping on now. I'm sure it's a lot of people. Say a lot of people shopping today. You know what I mean? Sounds all good, great. A lot of people shopping today. Me, I'm just taking it easy. I usually go to the gym on a Sunday morning, and I didn't even go to the gym this morning. I just said, because I start work this week and I won't have a day off. Now, the next day off I'll have will be when I'm in Lanzarote on Christmas Eve. I'll get there in the afternoon. So I'm working straight through. So there'll be no Sunday service next week, but I might do something in the salon. I don't know, there's been some really brilliant threads on the page this week. Hi Mandy, how are you? Everybody can hear me good, that's great, but I'm sure everybody's busy. I mean, I know even in my house the kids are out, the wife is out, there's stuff being bought, usually stuff for me, socks and underwear. Hi Marius, how are you doing? Socks and underwear, the usual stuff that daddies get for Christmas, you know what I mean? Toothpastes and toothbrushes and stuff like that type of thing. So, my wife's after giving me a load of loves there. Hi, Gib. Hi, I was just saying you're out and about with the kids. It's to do a Stevenson's Day one from here. We'll definitely do one from Lanzarote with you and me and Nick for 100%. Maybe I could do a Stevenson's Day one. I mean, I don't know. We'll have all week because people are off that week, so we'll be able to go live. We'll be able to build it up. We'll be able to ramp it up. Hi Terry, how are you? Thanks for joining us on this second last Sunday before Christmas. I can only imagine the car parks and the shopping. I mean, that's when you work in salons. Hiya Joe, how's it going? When you work in salons, it's your worst nightmare to be around people when you're not working, isn't it? Because you're with the public all week. Talking behind the chair and, helping people and, so you're with them. And then to be in shops full of basically the public again and people, it's too much. I think if you work in a really busy salon, certainly for me, it's not something I can handle really after, especially if I've done a full weekend. How is everybody getting on today? Hi Chevy, how are you? Kevin, how are you doing? I just saw you were exercising there, Kevin, with your beautiful, beautiful cars. I have your hat here. I'm going to take a picture of it in the salon so I can send it to you. So you'll have a picture of it in Maine. And thanks again for the lovely gift. It was really, really nice. Really, really nice of you. I'm sure most people will be on by now. I don't expect a whopper number. I expect whopper numbers to watch during the week. Last week, there are a few loves, a few likes. Hi Morag, how's it going? Last week, 6,200 people viewed Sunday Live, which was just pretty incredible. If I hadn't tired and hungover, Mandy. Hello, shout out to you all too. Hi Morag, how you doing? I was really for the group that has 23,000 in it, Hi Alison, how are you, babes? Good to see you on. Thanks for coming on to me. Hi Paula, how's it going? For a group of 23,000, we have a huge amount of active members. Hiya Shay Dempsey here, who's on. He's going live tomorrow on Hairbrained, but he's going to tag me, and we'll put Shay on. Shay and me used to work together for many, many years. You all right, buddy? I was only thinking of you the other day because it was your birthday. I was thinking of all those Christmases and working together and, all that time. So Shay's going live tomorrow from his salon in Los Angeles. He's I think he's doing a haircut. We'll see what he's doing. But he'll tag me and we'll put it on the page. So you finally made it, Morag. Yeah, are you great, Shay? Are you great? I have a spare chair, Shay. So if you want to come home for a while, we'll throw you in the side, you know, because I know how quiet you are when you work in the salons. Oh, you've never. Some people were born to be behind the chair. Some people were born pure madness. Yeah, some people were born to be behind the chair, and Shay's one of those people who's a born performer. You know, he's a born performer. We were only talking about you the other day. You'd always turn up at parties, you and your dad at Christmas and out with the beatbox, and then you'd be doing the Sinatra. You're gas, man, gas. I could do a whole Sunday service just on the shows that you and me did, and the momentum and the trouble we caused. I hope you're keeping well anyway, brother. So last week we seemed to hit on a massive it was a massive live 6,500 out of 23,000 watched by Thursday, which was just monster for a private group, because you can't. It's not as if you can fake the numbers in a private group. It's not as if you can ask your mates to watch the video, is it? Because your mates aren't a part of the group. So there's no better place, you know, for seeing real engagement than in a private club, in a private group where it's hairdressers only. You can't fake nothing. So it was brilliant to see that amount of people tuned in. Nearly a third of the page had tuned in, and it's great for us. So last week it came up. I think it was Marta, the famous Marta. Hiya, Karen and Marta. I don't know if you're on. Last week was ace. Well, last week it came up about doing a face frame, Alison, but from the side. Now, again, this reminds me of Shay Dempsey, because he used to do an awful lot of dropped side fringes, and he would use the focal points into the cheekbone. It was one of his signature looks, with width coming out from the cheekbones. Very much a Shay kind of look, and he always combed the hair forward so that he could find the natural fall of the hair. Because if you're gonna face frame, you've got to base your face frame on the natural fall of the person's hair rather than just a blow dried way it sits, because then when they wear it themselves, it'll hit the blonde section that is the right section. So the first tip is to comb the hair all forward, either to this side and that side, and you'll find which side it sits on better. I learned that tip from Mr. Dempsey. Take it all forward, and then once you find the vocal point area, we'll get Nicole in here, you know, once you find the vocal point area, then you try to work out where you want the blondest part of the face frame. Because when you're working a face frame from the centre, it's more about balance, you know, it's more about symmetrical balance, and then it's about getting the lightness in on the sides. You'll see, you know, for a really commercial perfect one, if you look at Jennifer Anderson's hair in the last episode of The Morning Show that just came out yesterday on Friday, there's a scene with her in the restaurant, and she just has a symmetrical face frame, and a lot of them probably are pieces, you know, the blonde pieces are just put in the right place, and the rest of her is dark, and you sort of see exactly how you light up a face. It's a scene of her in a restaurant, and if you just look at it from a hairdresser's point of view, you'll see it's not overdone, it's not underdone, it's not taken from her, but it's pretty terrific. So with no further ado, let's grab Nicole. So the important thing, here's Nicole here. Right, Nicole. Hiya, Nicole. There she is. There's Nicole. So sections are really important here. Sections are very, very, very important. So if you think of it, as I said to you, if you comb it whichever direction you go, if you go this way, well then, a sideways face frame, that's the area that you'll want to stand out. Or if you go this way, let me have a look at her. Okay. I'll grab a grip and stick it out here. Or if you go, this way. If you go this way, then that's the area that you want to stick out. And actually, when you look at it there, you can kind of see that is the vocal point area right down here. Even though this haircut isn't made to be worn to the side, if you section it right, then you can section it right. You can do it. So if you look at it from a sectioning point of view here, you can kind of see that it's like a sideways. So it's like a sideways box, yeah? It's like a sideways box. So rather than pivot, doing the pinwheel in and in, on this one you're going to pinwheel it to the side like this, with the emphasis on this area here being the lightest section of it. And then obviously you're going to have your side. So that's that section there. Let's just sort that one out first. You can spend 20 minutes sectioning the hair. And again, this is sectioning is everything. You know what I mean? Sectioning is everything. So let me just turn that. Okay, here. Boom. Okay, I think there's poor network connection. So let's hope that you can still hear me. Can you still, if you can still hear me and see me, let me know. You know, let me know if you can still hear me and see me. So the sideways sections, just light me up there with the hearts if you could. Yeah, am I back? Was I off there? Was I gone? Or was I okay? Was I gone? Was the network gone for a while, or did you still see what I was doing? So from the side area here, yeah, you could still see me. You think of it again like a sort of sideways box section, yeah? So you sort of think of things in sections of like a little boxes, you know? See little boxes? Then it's easy for you to follow. So you can have a box on that side, a box on that side, and a sideways here. Yes? Okay, you can still hear me, right? So when you there's your section, okay? You're not going to have to put any color back here, okay? You're not going to have to put any color up here. And the reason you do this is because you have your curves. You see your curves, so this will sit over that section, but this section will lighten up our face. You know, this section here is the section. Hi Ward, how's it going? Is the section that will show off her face. And remember what we talked about focal points. So we have the eyebrow, the eye, the nose, the top lip, the bottom lip, the chin. So you see how clean that section looks. Okay? That's quite okay, Cheryl. You can always watch back, but it's good to watch live because you can ask questions. So you see that's a box section. Yeah, okay. So let's go to the other side and create another box section on the other side. Okay. 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 There we go. There we go. So there's another box section then to the side here. So you can see that box section there. So you basically have a box, yeah, a box, and then a rectangle or to the side. So depending on which way you wanted to go with this, it would be this side, and you want the focal point, the brightest bit, to be this side or the other side, you know, depending. We're going to go this side because I just think it looks better on her. You know, I think it just looks, yeah, much better on her. And then the rest of the hair, you're not going to highlight. Okay, hi Aubrey, how's it going? I hope you're feeling okay. How are you? You okay, sweetheart? Yeah, I'm glad you're better now. It's great to see you. And I hope you're feeling good. Okay, so let's... So again, when you're doing a section like this, it depends on what you want. You know, I would definitely want some highlights to the root and some highlights on the way down. And in my mind, the focal point for Nicole here is her eyebrow. So when I'm back combing, or when I'm doing any of my back comb highlights, I don't want to go higher than her eyebrow. Okay, that's great, Cheryl. I don't want to go higher than her eyebrow. I'm still learning myself, sweetheart, you know. I had no idea. But this stuff is great. It really helps. You know what? It was Alison there, actually, who was on from Dubai. Because Alison's a very accomplished... Which you are as... Bailey, you're as cute as they come, Bailey. Don't talk to me. Late to the hair church. It's okay, Britain. Good to see you on. Jeez, there's loads of you on now. I thought you'd be all out shopping. You know, I'm so red this week. That's because I'm overworking. I suffer with a bit of blood pressure. But the only time my blood pressure is perfect is when I'm colouring hair. Isn't that mad? Isn't that mad? You know? So it's everything else in life that drives me mental. But colouring hair, boom, my heart's perfect. So, in our minds, we're thinking vocal point, eyebrow. Yeah? So, we'll do the zigzags again because you know, you can't, you know, you need to see this stuff about 1,000,000 times to really get it. So, again, you're lifting up her section here. I don't like to put highlights right in somebody's head here because I always feel then when they tie it back, it takes away from their cheekbone. I always feel if you've got too much lightness here, then you've got too far to travel for their cheekbone and they become all face. Okay? Back to work. Killed cancer's arse. You did, Aubrey, you did. You did. I saw you after your throat operation. It's good to see you on the way back. You're a ledge. You're a ledge. From South Africa, you know I love you guys out there. So personally, I think you should always tell a client to not go too light here. Number one, their hair. The most fragile area in a woman's head is always here, okay? And the least amount of hair that she has is always here, okay? So she could have very little hair here and loads of hair back here. So if she's very little hair back here, you shouldn't be over highlighting it. You know what I'm saying? It's not cool. You know what I mean? It's not cool. You'll wreck her hair. And then she'll be tying it back saying, can you just put a few more in there? Can you just put a few more in there? And then you know what? She'll have no hair. And then you know what? She'll leave you. She'll blame you. She'll say, oh, my hair fell out. It was that guy Andrew did my hair. They always blame you, you know? So just remember that. So you can see by having concise box sections how easy it is to work and not get lost. Because the only thing you need to think about now is this section and how that's going to look on her face. You don't need to be thinking about anything other than that. So you just think about that section. Yes? That's all you think about, okay? Don't be thinking about anything else. That's going to drop over it. This is going to frame her face, okay? So then you look at the natural fall of the hair, and this one falls just a little bit forward, okay? So we're gonna highlight it at a 45-degree angle. You see here, a 45-degree angle, because that suits the face shape, okay? So the first one, we'll do a zigzag. We'll do 2 zigzags, because you all loved that last week. So I'll take that off. So there's the zigzag. You see it? See them? Yeah. Yeah, 2 zigzags. Yeah. Okay. And then take the top off that zigzag. Again, you just put that in there. Always make sure you can have a look at them in your hands and see how they're sitting. They should look beautiful. And you can imagine how well they will grow out. Yeah? So that's your first zigzag. Okay? And then remember, you're using the eyebrow as your vocal points. So you'll never get lost. Always use the face shape as your vocal points. Use the lips, use the nose, use the eyes, use the eyebrows. Because you can go on the other side. You do have people with different size eyebrows and all that, but it doesn't really make that much difference. So then on the second section, straighten up that section. Okay, so there's this section, okay? Yeah, but we still want some colour on the ends of this section. We don't want it strippy, just like a highlight, bit of brown, strippy. We want lots of colour coming from there, okay? So when you're straightening up this section here, straighten it up there, like that. You see that straightens that section there. You're going to colour that as well. So that you'll have your zigzag there and you'll have your back comb weave here. So then we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So I'm going to look at her eyebrow and say to myself, right, I'm never going to go higher than that weave. Okay? In fact, I'm just going to go below it because it feels like it's the right thing to do. And then I put that in there. Yeah? And I colour that. So those 2 sections then, you'll have a zigzag and you'll have a back comb weave from the top. And then you do that all the way up. I'll keep doing it because it'll help. Hiya Frank, how's it going? 1, 2, 3. 3 in there. You see 3 in there? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So you're 3 in there. These are nice and big. I like the shape of these. See them? Boom. Any questions? Loving all this. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. You're welcome. Because just imagine what I don't share, okay? Imagine what I don't share. That's why you have to come and spend a day with me in the salon. You can imagine what I don't share, you know, which is unbelievable, let me tell you. Now, you can now, on this section here, this is another thing that I hiya, Spila, I know you're off working, babes. Great to see you on. I hope you're keeping well, my beautiful blonde Wella lady. So you can, if the head shape determines it, you can just slightly curve your, you know, you're doing the same section of your zigzag section, and you can slightly curve that section. So you see the way it's slightly curved, which will just give you a slight elongation. All these little things add up to you creating your own signature with your highlights, so that your highlights don't look like anyone else's. Like if they go to another salon and they say, oh, this is what I had done, it cannot possibly look like the way you did it. It just cannot, because all they're trying to do in the other salon is to do all the highlights the same and as close to the root as they possibly can. And to be honest with you, a cap highlight would be a better way to go if that's what you're looking to achieve. If you're looking to achieve just perfect, symmetrical, commercial balance all the way through the hair, well, you know, foils and wraps and movements and shapes and colours, you know, I don't like the small baby lights around the hairline. Britain, I'm not mad about them, but you know what, Tracy Cunningham does them perfectly and does a lot of them, and she says I don't like them, but she said because I'm a man, you know. So, and I love Tracy to death, so you know, it's just who is different. I like them to be stand out like this, and clients who are really into that type of look tend not to come to me, you know what I mean, and I don't really want them to come. So this is a slight curved, slightly curved with the zigzag in it, and then you just up you go, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's the eyebrow, so there's your focal point, so that's where you start to weave. Yeah, if you want to weave or just slice and put it in as balayage, you know what I mean. Yeah, boom, so you put that in. Okay, it's a lot of work. What's a lot of work? All the baby lights, you know. So then we have the next section now, which has been slightly curved. So you can do a zigzag through the slight curve. See the slight curve? And let me like wreck your noodle a little bit more here. So you can put in your zigzag, and then you can have them in different shapes. So this one is quite pointy. This one is slightly more sliced, and this one is chunkier. So when you have them in your hands and you put them in the packet and you put them in, I'm just using any paper here, Aubrey. I'm not. I'm just keeping it real. You know, I could highlight with Anton, sweetheart. Hi Pam, how's it going? So you can see this one's chunkier. This one is more of a slice, and this one has more of a point on it. So that when they come down into the hair, they'll look completely uneven. They'll look completely perfectly imperfect. You understand what I mean? Because hair is not like symmetrically perfect highlights. You can get them done anywhere. And again, back to the cap. You know, you can nothing does it better than a cap. So, like, what you're trying to create is movements and statements and shapes and, you know, and your love and your heart. Hiya, Pam. Great to see you on, babes. You know. So, I'm just using any old paper. Hiya, Joanne. So, by doing that shape, you know, you're creating a signature for the client. Okay, so that's your zigzag done. That's in the packet. Take the next one down. The next one we'll curve up a little bit. Okay, we'll curve it up so that it just turns like a slight C-section up towards the head. Anything to create movement. Yeah, and then so here we go. So that's a slight C-section. Again, now you're above our eyebrow. Okay, so you're using our eyebrow as your focal point. So this tells you where to back comb from. So it makes it very easy. You can't get lost. There's you all right, Nicole? Yeah, she's very quiet, this one. God love her. You know, she's a bit shy. Thinks I'll take advantage of her. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. I think 4 is usually, fine with that. So you can see that this is the So this is the back comb. There's our eyebrow. So we never go above our eyebrow. Okay, so you break into that. So it's very easy not to get lost. You just use the eyebrow. Hi, Salis. You just use the eyebrow as your point of contact, and then you know that your highlights will sit very naturally. Coming to the last section on this side. Well, actually the last two, because you know you do 2 sections for every section. Do a zigzag. This one will slightly curve it, and we made them a little bit thinner and a little bit more defined so that they all look different. They all look perfectly imperfect. You know what I'm saying? Good evening, my man. We get stuck in our old ways. We do. We're like robots. But people say to me, you know, you're so busy. You just look. Is it look, or is it this, or is it that? And I'm like, yeah, it's just look. It's not. It's technique. It's technique. Okay, it's technique. That's what it is. It's technique and product. You know. So there's again. You'll see now that I've done this again. So there's the thickest one. This is the slightly thinner one, and these two are finer. Okay. So because it's so natural for me, I can find that really easy to do. So you can see thicker, less thick, fine. So when they drop down, these two sort of disappear into the hair and these two stand out. So it means when you're blow drying that section, that this section will look brighter here as it goes down, and the ends here, it won't look as bright there, but the ends will look brighter there. So you get that sort of movement of colour. You know that people think it's natural, but it's not. You can create it. And I absolutely love that. You know, I love that when I see in a hair show a personalised highlight. You know, because anybody can personalise big sections and stuff like that, but it's the stuff you can do every day on a woman who's 70 or a woman who's 17. That's what's important, okay? That's what it is behind the chair. So the last section here, eyebrow here, is your vocal point. So you back home looking at the eyebrow, and you go down further, and there we are. We're right at the eyebrow now. Yeah? See it at the eyebrow? Yeah? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In you go. That one's off. In you go. Boom. Hi, Marta. Jesus, babes, you were late. It's not like you. Good to see you. So that's that section done, yeah? Okay, we'll do the other side. And this one here, will we? Here, hang on. It's a bit of a mess over here, isn't it, this side? I need to put a grip in there. So the best thing to do is to just get the hair that you don't use out of the way. I probably don't even need to do this side after you've seen the other side. I mean, you're quite smart kids, aren't you? So you just don't need that much. But I'll section it so you can see it. Okay, there we go. So it's all about boxes and ridges, okay? Boxes and points. So you see this section then again, there's your box straight down there. There's your, you know, so you comb it forward and look for the way it sits. She's actually got more hair on this side than she has on the other side. And again, looking at the way it sits, you'll be using your eyebrow as your vocal point as you did on the other side. There's your section there. And then work it up and do it any way you want, you know? Yeah, do it any way you want. So let's look at the front, okay? Because you've got to pinwheel this. Number one is you've got to get your sections right, okay? You've got to get your sections right. If you don't over back home hair, look at how easy it is to get it out, you know? It's the people are going mad with the back home, and there's no need for it, you know? Just put it in, keep it nice and elegant, you know? Okay, so I have this section here. So if you were doing a center one, you would break it in the center and you would pinwheel from both sides, okay? Yes, greeting from Finland. Hi, I'd love to go to Finland. They all have their place, even if nobody thinks so. Now, we're going to talk about that later, Heather, because I actually think, after listening to today, I actually think that there's, like, everything has its place, you know? But with the modern day products, we can do so much. But this, you can with one packet. You could put one packet in somebody's hair here and just highlight this section, and you could change her life. You know, like Jennifer Anderson's is. You know, the way you just highlight here, you know, and you could just do a little shape, and then you could do a little back comb weave, and you could just do that, and it would literally change the way the girl looks forever. You know, and that's really what foils and packets are for, is for creating beautiful signature shapes. But if they're to be bang to the root and to be balanced and perfect all over, I don't, you know, there is an argument out there which is going on the page that you would be better off to use a cap, and we are going to talk about that later. But let's get this section done. So this is the way I would approach this one from the side, okay? So there's my section. Hiya, Karen. So you can see there's the section, and yeah, there's the section. So that's it to the side. So if we pull all that to the side like that, sorry, Nicole, you're all right, babes. So if we pull all that to the side there like that, we're going to go like that and go across, okay? And then we want this to be the brightest area. Am I frozen again? It says I'm okay live here. So it says I'm still okay here, babes. So I'm not quite sure. So again, if you're going to this side, you're going to start here. So we'll start here with a zigzag. One there. We're going to be all about. We're going to talk about it later, Trace. And then you're going to over direct that one. And again, you're using her eyebrow as your for your back comb. Or you can go a bit higher, I think, here. Now we'll still shoot for her eyebrow. How's that? Because it makes sense, doesn't it? Fine in your Jennifer. It says fine here. Okay. There we go. Okay. So we have our section here. So we're going to go in at the side, little mini zigzag. Nothing too chunky on the hairline. Or chunky, it's up to you. I mean, I like them to stand out, you know. I like them to be signatured. Boom, put that one in. Must be mine. I restarted 4 times now. It can happen. It can happen. Mine went to record there. You know what can happen for me is the kids are downstairs and they're all on their iPads. And if they all go on YouTube, then mine freezes. So now I don't let them go on the iPads between 6 and 8 on a Sunday for you guys. And you can imagine how well that went down. So that's your first zigzag. Again, you're taking the same section of that section, pivoting sideways at a 45-degree angle. Lift up your hair. You can see the way the sections are going. Lift that up. Back comb it to the eyebrow. Okay? Doesn't it all make sense, yeah? Back comb to the eyebrow. Boom, 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 boom. The sound effects are back, Martha, huh? Back comb to the foot. So again, you're using your eyebrow as the guide. You can't get lost. Hiya, Nick. How's it going, my man? Are you okay? I'll see you in Lanzo fairly soon. So you're using the eyebrow, again, as your focal point, so you can't get lost. And your zigzags underneath that. Or a weave, or, you know, whatever you're having yourself, or a slice. I mean, I'm not going to... But each techniques, the kids would pack their bags. The kids have gone out, see, now I paid them. Let's be grateful. Please tell your children. Boom, boom. Yeah. Hi, Jody. So then, as you can see, we're going in sideways again. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Great to see you, bro. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And we're starting to get across to that. Remember, that's our focal point. That's our focal point. Okay? Keep your eyes on the prize. This would be the bit that she'll be blow drying at home that everyone will see, and they'll all go, oh God, who did your colour for you? And she'll say, oh, this mad elf Andrew, and she'll go to make an appointment, and she'll be told March, and that's the way, and they'll get even more excited. And then you get them in for a consultation and a skin test, and, you know, boom, and you're off. Okay, there's enough for everybody. Okay, there's enough for everybody. Hi, Sirga. Is it Sira? I never pronounce your name right. Yeah. Hi, babes. How are you? 1, 2, 3. We're right there now. See, we're right on the eyebrow. Yeah, right on the eyebrow, and then, you know, weave it, balayage it, whatever you're having yourself. And then there you are, you're right on the eyebrow. Okay? So you're working your way across. Yeah, Kes, look, this technique's great on curly hair, Savas. Great on curly hair. Absolutely brilliant. I probably make my shapes a little bit rounder. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Now you can start to see now, as I'm turning, that I'm taking into consideration the vocal point. Okay, so I'm starting to fall right on here, 2, 3, and I'm falling right here because I want that to be the bit that the blonde is strong on. Okay, so it's important to keep focused. When you're doing this type of work, don't switch off. Don't start talking to people about how their day was and how tired you are and how busy you are and, you know, what's on Netflix. You know, just say to them, you know, you just say, listen, Nicole, you just read a magazine there, take it easy. I just want to hit your face shape perfectly and make sure you look $1 million, okay? Great. And you leave her, get on with it, okay? You leave her, hiya Ross, how's it going? You leave her, get on with it, okay? You need to stay in the game. You need to stay in the moment with the hair, okay? You need to stay focused. Clients love that, okay? Clients love it because they can just switch off and they can chill out and they can enjoy and they know that they have a professional taking care of their hair, okay? But you need to concentrate on here because you need to hit this vocal points now on this side here perfectly, 2, 3. So there you go. There's those 3 vocal points, and you can see that shape. So that's our money piece on the side. Okay, so that's a sideways money piece. So we're now starting to hit that. Okay, so don't be off now telling her, you know, that I've seen this. What with a blonde coming in? You can make it work with a blonde coming in, Trace. Just do it. You will. See, look at how well it sits, babes. You know, there'll be no problem there, sweethearts. Just roll in and do it. All right, roll in and do it. Jesus, if I have time, I'll do it in your own hair when I'm there. You know what I mean? Just roll in and do it. See it there now. You're right on the vocal point. Okay, boom. See it going down. So you know once you've hit that area, you know you're on a winner. Okay, so don't lose concentration. Whatever you do, lift up your section and stay with it. So straighten up that section, which is still a part of the same section, and there's your vocal point there. Yeah, stay in the game because this is the most important part of it. So then again on this part you have your zigzag underneath. Back comb based on the eyebrow as your vocal point. Boom, boom. You don't have to do boom like I do, but you know, it wouldn't be bleached then, would it be tint? I'm not sure, sweetie. I'll ask you when I have a look. You know, I always look back at all the questions and I'll have I do this with base breaks as well, but I do it I actually do this with 2 or 3 different colours on the root as well, Tracy. It gets like if there was only an inch regrowth. Well then, if there was only an inch regrowth, you know what I'd be doing, Tracy? I wouldn't be doing my back comb weaves. I'd be doing mini zigzags and probably weaves to the scalp, and mini zigzags and weaves to the scalp, and I'd be creating a new technique from there, if you know what I mean. But I wouldn't be able to do back comb balayage because her hair would be bleached and it would be fried chicken, you know. So we just weave this in and again take it to the vocal point. But I'll show you what I would do with that, Tracy, because I was up doing a class. I did a class in Nottingham in KH Hair, actually. Lovely team. Probably one of them on the Joanna could be on the thread tonight. Lovely team. But everybody had blondes like 2 inches out from the regrowth, and I tried to create shapes. So you do a big face frame. I tried to create shapes, you know, with what I had. So if that's what you've got to work with, Trace, Well, then you say to yourself, but if I do a weave here and a zigzag here and a weave here and a zigzag here, or a slice, and if I curve the slice, you can create a whole new thing. Yeah, I do it on all bases, Salas. The base doesn't matter. Really, I do it on all bases. So I've backcombed that bit, and again, the eyebrow is my guide, but put that in, okay? So now we're in serious land here, okay? This is the face frame vocal point section. You know, now she has to blow dry it and sit it that way, you know? You've been creating shapes for years. Yeah, I have. I don't do, all I do is shapes. You want to see me walking, Alison? I'm like John Travolta at the start of Saturday Night Fever, you know? Did you ever see John Travolta at the start of Saturday Night Fever when he's walking with the tins of paint? Brilliant. Brilliant. You can't tell I'm a ruined man. My wife is sending me loves again here. So again, make sure that your zigzag is flush, okay? Is flush. Look, it's right there. So it's got to be flush, okay? It's got to be flush. I can imagine you. Alison, little. I'd like to say the little butt on me, but it's a long time since my butt was little, you know? In my head, it's little, you know? In my head, it's little. So there's the zigzag, okay? See the shapes? And you're right on. You're right on the vocal points, okay? You've got to hit your vocal points, okay? You've got to hit your vocal points. Get on there, will you? Nicole was playing hard to get there. So you've got to hit your vocal points, okay? There we go. Jesus. There we go. So then you hit your vocal points. There's your zigzag. There's your vocal points. There you see you're right on it. Okay? You're right on it. See it? Right there. Boom, boom, boom. You'll miss that so easy if you're having a talk about the fact that there's nothing on Netflix at the moment. You know what I'm saying? I bet you're great walking to the dance. I'm a great dancer, Cheryl. I have to say, I'm a great dancer. You know, I just get tired very quickly now from all the eating and the big Ned Kelly. So the last section here, we take out the zigzag, and this is our last section here. So you're using your eyebrow as your back comb. You back comb that up, and there's your eyebrow, and then you'll do your little weave through that or whatever it is. You can tell I've had enough of this now, can't you? You can kind of tell. Andrew, do you have any techniques that only last 6 weeks? Yeah, I do. Well, see, I do bass breaks and zigzags a lot. You know what I mean? So they're in every 6 weeks, Trace, where they get a 9-1 or a 9-8 background. So there's your zigzag. See, that's based right on... Poor down Nicole here. She can't see a thing. So that's based right on Nicole's eyebrow there. You see? So you can't get lost. Yeah, you can't get lost, okay? What techniques you use for highlights and grey coverage? You paint in between the packets. So if you had to paint in between the packets here, you probably wouldn't be doing a back comb. You'd just be doing a zigzag and painting in between the packets, you know? But the fact of the matter is that you can put 5 packets in the right place and it can change the way the hair looks. Instead of doing all these like million packets everywhere, all through the head, you know, and wrecking the hair, you know. A really good highlight shouldn't need to be done every time. How you doing, Sarah? How would you approach the other side? So they're the 2 sides, Martha. Did you miss the start? So this side was a box section. I'd like get it up for you, babes. I'll get it up for you now. So this side, you go into it like a box. So you just literally go across. And once you have a point and a curve, it'll sit over it. A lot on tonight, God. See, so that's the curve there, Martha. And then on this wheel, you're doing a sort of a sideways pinwheel and making sure that you hit your vocal points here. So you're not doing too much talking. It's very easy. You just say to the client, you just relax and enjoy your cup of coffee. I'm going to make you look amazing. Okay, I'm going to make it look $1 million. And she just goes, this is amazing. Looks good. Looking forward to the break. Okay, so then... again, on the sideways, you just go in on the sideways curve. So that's how you do a sideways face frame. And then if you just drop these down, if you look at the picture that I put up earlier, you'll see all the brown from here. Now you can do a back comb and put a highlight up there if you want as well, but we tend to over highlight here. You know what I mean? We tend to overdo it, and it's the darkness here that makes this bit stand out here. I mean, if you don't have depth here, how can... Yeah, I don't really tease with it when I'm doing grey coverage because it's too messy. You know what I mean? It's too messy. What I do there, Michelle, is I would do all my highlights and everything first, and then I do a melt afterwards, you know? Or I do it in between the packets. But I mean, it's not going to be... You pinwheel all the way, so you're literally going like that and turning. But the thing to remember is that this is your focal point. Find your focal point, comb all the hair forward, find the focal point, and this is your focal point. Or if it's going on that side, where your focal points are, and make sure that that when you're turning, that your pinwheel turns perfectly. Hiya Nina, how's it going, babes? One of the best business coaches there in the business on there. She'll tell you about numbers that you don't want to know about, but that you need to know about, or you won't be able to stay open, you know, about your turnover and all that type of stuff. She's a terrific lady, so don't be... hit her up. She knows her stuff. She really does. And she's one of us. She's genuine. So the pinwheel to the side, and then look for your focal points. You know, if you get that right here, you know... You get that right here, then you can turn. You can do it this side, Marta, or you can do it that side. So, you'll have to watch your back, Marta, but you would really go in then and turning all the way, but that the important part is here. That you hit your zags here, and that you hit your back comb here, and that your back comb is never higher than her eyebrow. Hiya, Lucy, how's it going? Your background is never higher than her eyebrow. Or her nose, or her lip, or her top lip. You choose, you know. I always do it with the clients. I always bend in with the clients front ways, and I'll always say, you know what, this is, for me, this is the best part of your face. I really like your cheekbones. And clients love that. They go, do you think so? I say, yeah, I think so. Or, you know what, if you have a really nice bright bit just around your eye there, wouldn't that be lovely? Yeah, wouldn't that be lovely? You know, and you can even get the hairdresser to cut the fringe in first, and if that's going to be the shorter bit, well, then you can zag, and you can back comb it down from there, you know? You know, so, but don't be afraid to look at people, and I suppose I'm older. I mean, I can just look at them, and I just go, right, well, for me, it's her eyes, okay? So we're really going to work on the lightness, and then we're going to try and bring out your face shape, and then, or you could really just work on getting it really bright here to bring out her lips. You know, you could sort of say, we'll do some nice lights, or you could just do some, you know, some lights here to try and bring out her lips and stuff like that. If she knows this, okay, she'll then start to do her hair based on her lip, and she'll start to do her around her nose, and she'll go on a journey with you. And she'll never leave the chair. She'll never leave the chair because you've made her feel like a woman. You've made her feel beautiful. You've highlighted her face shapes. You've highlighted her vocal points. Our kids are in bed, Sarah. I tell you, it's a long week ahead, babes. I don't know about you, but this day next week, it'll be my 7th day in a row, and then I've still got Monday to go after that as well. I think it's going to be a long... I'm not going to think about it. I just live in the day, because we could all be gone by Tuesday. So just live in the day. That's what I say. Just live in the day. But don't be afraid to sit with a client and to look and go, focal points, you know? Okay. Or if she's going in the centre, like she was last week, she's going in the centre, see, her face shape is completely different now. So now it's more like, it completely changes her, doesn't it? A centre parting can completely change a person. I really like a centre parting, especially a low 70s centre parting. One client at a time. Very good, Tracy. So for me at a centre parting, this is not a good place to start. So you see how things can change. So from here, her focal point is her eyebrow. But in the centre, when her hair is parted, it's her cheekbone. Okay? You can see that. It's just below her cheekbone. So that if you put highlights up to here, it'd just be too much, you know? And I actually would really like a face frame, up there to open up her face, because she doesn't have much of an eyebrow, does she? Or a forehead. Like, she doesn't have much of a forehead. So I would say I would want a big face frame. So it changes everything depending on the hair cut. So because here she doesn't have much of an eyebrow, I'd be saying to myself, right, I need a very good big face frame here, because I want to open up her face and I want to line it all the way down. And for me, my sort of balayage, foliage, whatever, having in yourself, would start here, right in her eyebrows and her little stubby nose. She's a gorgeous little nose, a little posh and Beck's nose. Look, she's a lovely little nose. And, you know, if you sit and talk to her, she'd say yeah, or she'll say no, or you say, I say, so if we put this up here, it's going to be it could be really quite strong, but it'll open up your face. What do you think? And she'll say, oh, no, I don't want it too big or too bright. And you say, well, we could do a little Jennifer Aniston one, which will be just a little bit here, but then we can go a lot brighter here around your cheekbone. And she'd be like, oh, God, yeah, it sounds gorgeous, sounds great. She's not asking you how much it is, okay? She's not asking you, you know, can I afford this? She's just sitting there and she's actually about to explode with excitement because somebody's going to colour her hair based on her face shape, not on what you haven't done today. Is it a tea bar? Is it? You having a couple of packets in? Is it? And then they put the packets in and then they blow dry in a certain way. And then she goes home, does it herself, and it's a dog's dinner. Hiya, Kelly. How's it going? You know what I mean? So think about hair like this, okay? Think about it like this. And don't be afraid to look, okay? And to look at the face shapes and to look, you know, at all that type of stuff. And the way it completely changes when it's to the side, completely changes everything. It's all our eyebrow to the side. Look, boom. And then in the centre, it opens up her forehead, and you have to do so you know, you never worry about people copying your work or copying your look, because you're working on the face shape of the person that's in the chair beside you, okay? And you're trying to interpret that and make them look the best they possibly can, okay? So that can't be copied, okay? That can't be copied. You could. There's 21 salons in the street I'm on, and I'm 3 floors up, and I don't have any. I don't feel I never feel. I wonder, are they busy across the road, or are they busy here? They're busy there. I never feel that. I just work on each head that I do and try to make it the best I possibly can. How nice it is to watch you, and I love your accent from Missouri. Thanks, Caitlin. I have my little daughter's name is Caitlin, but I spell it with a C. I'm so glad to help you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. You can thank a lady called Sylvie Moreau, because she was the one who said to the guys in Wella, I think we should get behind Andrew and bring him into the Wella umbrella and let him do his thing and be himself and let him do his thing. And Sylvie and Laura and Rob and Tamar, and they all brought me in and they've let me be myself. So a lot of the very high up people in Wella just said they got behind me. So you can thank them, because they've sort of, because of that, it created the space that I was able to have a bit of time and to be able to do Sunday services for you, because I wouldn't be able to do this if they weren't supporting me a little bit. I just wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't have the time. I wouldn't be able to do it for you, and I'd be trying to charge us for this. I'd be trying to make money off you, like here, there, and everywhere. Where instead I'm supported, and and I can't thank Wella enough for this year for them getting behind me, and for allowing me to be myself, and to really try and help the behind the chair hairdressers to not be afraid to be themselves. So don't be afraid to look at things: eyebrow, eye, lip, top lip, cheekbone, lips, you know. And try to open it up and to look at it from there, and to look at the person and to have a good chat with them. You know what I'm saying? And then to do different types of highlighting to different types of shapes. You understanding the placement more? Yeah, boxes are very important. I can't really emphasize that enough. That people do not spend enough time sectioning hair, and they spend too long putting packets in. You know, you can, if you can find, so if we just spend the 5 minutes trying to find the vocal point, you know, here, if we try to find the vocal point and try to find the right size of the section for the face frame, it can change. I had a picture taken tonight with Santa, the original beard, hair green mixed. And you try to find that section. So there you see the way we've combed it across. So then you just follow that. It's like a box. It's like a sideways box. You just go in and you lift it up and you go and you curve it and you have a point here. So you have your point here. Me and Nick are going to do a Sunday service together in Lanzarote, probably with Tracy as well. You know what I mean? Probably with Tracy as well. And I do think that we could probably do one where we're both on live at the same time. Or, you know, we'll probably do something like that as well. Listen, there's lots to come, you know. But yeah, but you have to thank Sylvie Moreau and Laura Simpson and Tamar and Rob in particular. Rob, who had to sit through me talking to him in London, and I can be, you know what I'm like, I can drain you, I can talk. I think I should be your model. I love you, Trace, your gas tickets, your gas. Yeah, that we could do things live on the video and stuff like that. But you really have to thank a huge company, a huge corporation getting behind an independent, behind a hairdresser here and working with us and not being afraid. Well, you know, because no other company would take those risks, and they did for me. And so thank you so much to everybody in Geneva who's behind me, and you know who you are, and thanks a million. I really, really appreciate it. And Maylu. And so there you go. There's your sections. That's it for the face frame. Once you find it, then you can follow your sections, as you say, Karen. So that's like a box there. And then to the side here, you just lift it up. For me, it's quite easy because I'm doing it all my life. Lift it up. You know, just find that section. And then it's like a box. You know, you just go straight down. And you're there. Look, you look for the peak in the eyebrow. Right here, high recession. Yeah, peak, right there. See it there? So you can't get lost. Look, you just can't get lost. So there's your section there. Okay, and you're done. You can just, boom, just do that section. And then now you can do the ends of that up there if you want and do the highlights. But there's always sometimes there's too much colour. And it's the shadows that makes the light. Remember that, you know. Come to Cyprus one day. I'd love to come to Cyprus, you know. I'd love to come to Cyprus, but it's not easy to leave the business, you know what I mean? So I'm in Cyprus right now, today, on your phone, which is even brilliant. And should we be all travelling like we used to? I mean, listening to Greta, I don't think we should. I don't know. Let's see what's going to happen with the world ahead. So there's the sections. If there's any questions... Is there any questions now? How are we doing for time? We're not. We're doing good. We're doing good. See it layered like that, and that's your focal point there. That's your focal point there. Yeah. Any questions? No, that's her done. Okay. Over there, Nicole. Okay. 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 Woo! That was busy, wasn't it? That was busy. So that's a sideways face frame with a focal point coming from here. High recession. Look for little boxes and work your shapes from here. And work your shapes from here. And there, you can nearly see it with my hair. You can follow the curvature of the head and go down with that. If it's in the centre, then you're working from the side and you're pinwheeling up from the side. With this one, you're turning like that with an emphasis on your focal point being here. Yeah? Everything just froze. So you'll be able to watch it back more, you know. You'll be able to watch it back. It's a tough. Sundays can be very busy. You'll be able to watch it back. You know, nearly all my life when I've been in business or I've been in salon, I've been to a certain extent debt free. You know, and so many people take on lots of debt. You know, in businesses and stuff like that. You know, you can watch it back more. I'll be loading it later, so you'll be able to watch it back then. You know, you'll be able to watch it back. These are the little Wella grips. I don't know if you have these, guys. I have them, the Wella grips. Yeah, they're pretty good. And this is a Matador comb. I think it's Matador. I like using this one, especially for those sideways ones. It's pretty big, and it gives you those nice shapes. That's why I like using them. But I like the YS Parks as well. I think they're quite good. But I never have taken on much debt, and when we, you know, Maine was open debt free, you know, and everything was paid with savings and stuff like that. And people have often said to me, "How come you're so like that? How come?" Like I bought a new car after being 9 years in business, but I didn't buy one before that. You know, even though I probably could have, I just didn't. And when I bought it debt free. And people are always saying to me, "It's like, how come you're like that. How is that possible? You know what I mean? Because you know, most people, they go out and they get the business loans and the car loans and they get them, so they're buying everything, buying Ferraris, they're going bananas. I said, how come you're not like that? And I said, there's a story that is a really good story that I'll tell you. You know, when I was about 17 or 18, I was working in Peter Mark in Stillorgan, back in when I lived in Dundrum, and there was no direct bus for me to get to the salon, you know. So and at 17, 18 in Ireland, I wanted a motorbike, and my dad wouldn't let me have a motorbike because my brother, who's younger than me, Les, had been in a couple of bike accidents, and he just didn't want to go through that again. He said, if you hold out till your 18th birthday, I'll get you a car. And I said, right. So I was getting the bus all the time, and then on my 18th birthday, he said, okay, we'll get you a car. And he brought me down to the bank, okay, and he introduced me to the bank manager, and he said, my son here now would like to get a car, so can you set him up for the loan? And he obviously went guarantor, because they wouldn't give loans to 18-year-olds in those days. And he, so we went down to the bank. I was a bit disappointed because I thought when he said he was going to give me a car, like he was actually just going to give me a car. I thought he was going to go out and buy me one. You know what I mean? Yeah, foolish as I was. And so we set it up. I mean, in those days, to even get insurance at 18 was nearly impossible because of all the boy racers and, you know, drink driving and, you know, the stuff that was going on. So the insurance was actually more than the car. So you had to, you know, you'd have to get a full loan for your car, and then you'd have to save your ass off just to pay for your insurance. Your insurance was like €2,000 or €3,000, 2,000 or 3,000 old Irish pounds, and your car was probably 600 or 700, you know. But you couldn't get insurance because they were always crashing their cars, and there was so, you know, Ireland was a different country at the time. We weren't in Europe. We didn't have all that sort of millennium free money that we suddenly got, and things were very tight. So my dad bought me the car, and they told me how much my repayments were going to be on the car, and it was tight. I won't lie to you, it was tight. I was earning whatever I was earning. It was basically two and a half weeks of my wages just to pay back the loan. You know, so my dad said, are you sure you can do this? And I said, yeah. And the bank manager said, are you sure you can do this now? And I was like, no, I can do this, no problem, you know, no problem. Now I had to hand up money at home. I mean, in those days, like, you handed up money to your mum and dad, or you didn't get to live with them. That was the way it was, and that's the way it should be. So I got the car, and within 3 or 4 months, I was struggling. I was struggling badly, and I was because I just couldn't pay it off, and I was kind of annoyed at my dad because I was like, why didn't he just buy me a car? You know what I mean? He should have, because I was so good. I didn't get a motorbike. You know, I had a great love-hate relationship with my dad, who he was the most important person in my whole life. He was my biggest mentor, and I've missed him every day since I lost him. But he taught me some serious lessons, and we had some great fights, and he was just, there'll never be somebody as special to me as my dad was to me. When this particular lesson is the reason why I'm debt free. So I fell behind in the payments. I went out one Friday night to Blinkers in Leopardstown. I went out Saturday night, went out Sunday night, and I didn't make the payments for the bank. And you know what? Nothing happened for a week or two. And I thought, this is okay. I didn't make the payments. There's obviously, they're going to, you know, maybe they'll charge me less. So when I was young and I was stupid, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And my dad said to me then one day, he said, there's something wrong with your car exhaust there. He said, leave it with me. I'll get that fixed for you today. You go on ahead and cycle to Stillorgan today. So I took the old bike, and I thought, Jesus, he's great now. Maybe I'm winning him over. He's getting me car fixed and all that type of stuff. So I went to work, you know, cycled home, got home that night, and the car wasn't there. And I got into the house, and I said, Dad, what happened? You know, what's going on? Did the mechanic not fix the car in one day? He said, oh, no, I sold it. And I said, what? He said, no, I sold your car. And he said, you couldn't afford to keep it. He said, so, you know, I just reckoned that you were like, I just reckoned you were a loser. You know what I mean? You couldn't keep up with your payments. You missed last month's payment. So I sold it, you know, and I used the money to pay off your car loan, and there's still a little bit left, and I'll be looking for that off you on a Friday. I mean, this is the way it goes for losers like you, you know. And I went bananas. I was like, who are you to sell my car to me? And he's laughing at me. He's laughing in my face, and he's laughing at me. he's got, and he was the one, he's always singing. He was singing right there, "You're just a loser, you can't afford a car." He's going around singing this, and I'm waking up every morning, I'm calling them every name under the sun, getting on this crap push bike that I'd have to leave at 8 o'clock to get there for 9. And he was like, "Good luck now on the bike today." He said, "You know, I hope you don't get your arse wet from the water." And I'd be like, "You're just..." And I, you know, the language, I was just, I can't even say, I was saying, "You're just a," and if I have, so it went on for about a week, you know, and I'm pretty good at this. I have a very high threshold. I can, with my kids, I go to speech and language with Caitlin, and she goes through a very tough time, God love her, because she was so sick as a kid. And she has a very tough time in speech and language, and I take a perverted joy in watching her going through such pain, because I know that it builds resilience, because it builds resilience in me. But my wife can't handle it, she can't. But I'm like my dad, I can actually handle it, because I know it's really good for them. It makes them strong, it makes them better, it makes them who they are. So about a week in, you know, we're watching something on telly, you know what I mean? And he's sitting there looking at me, and I'm looking at him. I'm still like, I still want to kill him. You know, I want to kill him. And he's looking at me, and he's going, you know, "Did you learn your lesson yet?" And I was like, "What lesson is that?" And he said that, you know, that if you take on responsibilities, they're your responsibilities. And I was like, "I only fell behind. I couldn't do it." He says, "You couldn't afford a car. You don't earn enough money to have a car." You know, and this was a Ford. It was a Ford Cortina, so it was quite a cute car. You know, I love Caitlin too. If she was here, I'll bring her on one night. She's great. Her teeth are all over the J at the moment. She's so funny, but she's the best artist in her class. Anyway, so he's there, but you couldn't afford your car. Like your car payments were like $350 a week. You're only earning $5 or something like that, and you have to hand up to your mum and dad here, and you have to pay your way in the house. And I was like, "Yeah, but you said you'd get me a car." I'm crying and everything. I'm going bananas. And this is a lesson he taught me, and I still do this today. And he said, "Okay," he said, "so what do you want?" And I said, I want a car. And he said, "What do you not want?" I said, "I don't want a cycle." "Okay." He said, "I don't have to cycle to Slorgan every morning and cycle home and wrecked." And he said, "Okay, so let's write down, you don't want a cycle and you want a car." And so we wrote those down. He said, "Andrew, it's always important to write things down, because you get them out of your head and you get them onto paper." And he's the reason I'm able to talk to you guys, because it's the same thing. And so I got it down, and I wasn't sitting beside him, because I was still so bleeding annoyed at him. And he said, "So what's the solution?" And I was like, "There is no solution. I don't earn enough money." He said, "There's always a solution." He said, "So what's the solution?" And I was like, "I don't know the solution." He said, "So you're young." He said, "So you're full of juice." He says, "You're upstairs." I was always dancing upstairs. I love dancing, so I was dancing around. I'd be upstairs. He says, "You're upstairs dancing every night there for about 2 or 3 hours. We'd be practicing me body popping, and I'd be going bananas." He said, "You've got more energy than anyone in the whole house." He said, "You can dance up there." He says, "Would you not think of getting like a second job?" And I was like, "But Dad, I've got to do this, and I work late on a Thursday, and I work late on a Friday." He said, "Don't give me that crap." He said, "Do you want a car?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "If you want a car," he said, "well, then you need to get more money." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "So that's the solution?" I said, "Yeah, okay, that's the solution." He said, "Get in the car." So we went into the car, and any excuse to have a pint, this fella, any excuse to have a pint. He loved to have a pint, he loved to have a chat. But as you can tell, we're very alike. And we went down to a pub called the Stillorgan Orchard, and he happened to know the owner really well. And the pub was just down the road from the salon. Like, it was literally 30 seconds from the salon. And we went straight in. This was the most beautiful pub in Dublin. It was absolutely stunning. And straight up to the bar, and my dad was like, how are you, Jimmy? And they were like, "How's it going? I'll have a pint of Guinness here." And I think I was drinking Furstenberg or something at that stage. He said, "Furstenberg for the young man here." He says, "Is Rambo around?" And Rambo was the manager, you know. And he said, "Yeah, Rambo's around." I said, "Rambo, come here. I have this young fella here. He'd love to be able washing glasses here Thursday, Friday, and maybe Saturday. Would you be interested in that?" And he said, "Yeah, but we're more looking now for a lounge boy, you know, so you'll have to do a bit of, calculating with money and all that." And I was like, "Oh God, nightmare." And I was thinking to myself, how am I going to do this? How am I going to work here? And he said, "We'll give him a go." So I started work. I finished work in Stillorgan on at 10 to 8. He then rang my manager Jason and said he needs to be finished by 8. He's getting a second job to keep his car. I had to be over there for 8, and then I finished at 11:30. And this pub used to get you taxis home. That's how great it was to work for. So my dad had done a lot of homework here for me. So so I started in the Stillorgan Orchard, and I worked every Thursday, every Friday, and every second Saturday because I love to go out dancing. And I got a new car, and I was never in debt again because I learnt that there's always a solution, and I learned that if you don't pay your bills you won't get anywhere, and that if you owe money you're dead meat. And so from then on in I had a car, and I tell you what, it was great in a sense, because I mean, if you had a car at you were a young age, when I finished in Stillorgan at 11:30, I used to go straight to a nightclub called Blinkers in Leopardstown, and then on a Wednesday I'd go to Flamingos, and then on a Sunday I'd go out to Bray, because I had a car and I was able to do everything, and I was free to do anything. You know, your dad taught the man to fish. He did, and I was never in debt. So it's very important to get things out of your head, and not to be worried about things. People are always worried about focusing on the negative. It's not about focusing on the negative. You're just trying to find a solution. So if you write down a list of what you don't want, like if you don't want the shoes you're wearing, it doesn't have to be a heavy list. You know, it doesn't have to be a hardcore list. You can say, I don't like the shoes I'm wearing. I don't like the jumper I have on. I don't like the job I'm in. I don't like the amount of money I make. If you write all them down, you get them out of your head. Write them down. And then before you write down what you want. So if you write it down, I don't want these trousers. And then you wrote down what you want. I want a new pair of trousers. And if you do that, you will find a solution. Now, the problem is that you mightn't like the answer to the solution. And the answer for most people is quite straightforward. And they don't want to do it. This is the thing. This is the thing for most people, is that they don't actually... They want to talk about things forever. They want to, you know, procrastinate and have a great chat about how unfair life is and how things are. But that if you write down what you don't want, and you write down what you want, and you write down beside it solution, you'll find it very, very quickly. But then you have the courage to implement them. Now, some weeks you will, some weeks you don't, you know. And from that day on, if I could save for something, I was never in debt. And I'm working 8 days straight next week. You know why? Because I want to save my spending money for Lanzarote, because I don't want to go into, because I'm saving for something else, and I want to buy a new house next year, and I have this stuff. So I'm always saving for something. I'm always, and if I do an extra day, it's always, I'm always decompartmentalizing that stuff, and I'd never go into debt for something like this. And you know why? It's right back to that day with my dad when he was walking around the house calling me a loser because he'd sold my car. So imagine the balls on that man to have done that and sell my car, and to know that I'd still love him, and I did still love him. So that was my lesson from my dad today, and it was the best lesson I've ever learned, because when I bought my own house, I saved for everything that I had, and in the salon, I always make sure that I know how to break even, and I always make sure that everybody gets paid, and I always make sure that I'm the last one to get paid, and I always make sure that if I can help somebody, I'll help them. But if I can help somebody help themselves, then I will teach that. And it was a tough lesson at the time, but it was the right lesson, and it was ones that I have to learn with my own. It's ones that I will try to teach with my own kids, you know, because it's very important it's very important in life that you learn the rules and the lessons of life, because you know there's always an easy enough answer, there's always an easy enough solution, there's always an easy enough answer. It's just do you have the courage to do it? Do you have that, you know, that thing inside yourself to be able to do it? Because remember, if you focus on what you want, once you write down what you don't want, ignore that list, then focus on what you want. You know, just focus on what you want. You know, I was only talking about this yesterday, that you know, I used to have so many clients used to come in with private jets and stuff from Ireland, and you know, in the Celtic Tiger, and how it all just slid and went straight down, you know, a little bit. And you know, it's kind of coming back now. You know, it's kind of coming back up. But every client in your chair is a superstar. Anybody who's willing to pay for you and to sit in your chair deserves to be loved, and deserves to have their vocal points hit and all that type of stuff. So that's what I would advise you to do, is to write down what you don't want, and then list them all out. Get it all out of your head, because if once it's out of your head and it's on paper, it's no longer going around the old noodle. Get it all out, and then write down what you want, and you focus on what you want, because what you focus on grows. We've talked about this many times. So what you focus on in life will grow around you. So if you don't like the trousers you're wearing, and you focus on the fact that you need a new pair of trousers, you will find the ways to do that. If that's get an extra job to buy them, or if that's stay behind and do an extra client, if that's start early, if that's working through a lunch, if that's collecting your tips, if that's creating a sideways hustle, if that's learning something new, you will find a way to do it once you focus on it. So a 5% raise, just up your prices, you know, slightly. I see so many people on the page, and they don't charge their worth. They do incredible work, 9-10 hour work. And this came up on the page today. Tracy brought it up, and other people brought it up, you know, that we're slightly stagnated and at a stage with hairdressing where we're spending longer and longer. Hiya, Fanula, how's it going? I'm glad to see you on. They're spending longer and longer with clients, you know, doing a freehand balayage and then melts or colour corrections, and they're spending 4, 5, 6, 7 hours with one client, and then not charging what they need to charge for that, and they're not able to survive. Whether it's self-employed, whether it's suite, whether it's employees, whatever it is, that it's just got to the stage now where it's a tipping point, that it's no longer good for the salon. And you know, we harked back to a time we were talking about cap highlights. And we were talking about, you know, back in the day you would do maybe 2 or 3 of them an hour. So you would do, yeah, no, you're not making any money back. You're not using any colour products. So the products are getting more and more expensive because you're not using them. You're spending 9-10 hours trying to do hair that you should have spent 3 or 4 months doing, taking your time and doing it right, and trying to do everything in 1 hour. And it's all about these huge transformations, and then you're not even making a basic wage out of it. And salons can't compete with that because they have to pay rent, water, electricity, personal liability insurance. They have to pay their VAT rates, they have to pay their staff, they have to pay for water, electricity, coffee, tea, magazines, light, electricity, water. They've nothing left. So they have to do a certain amount of clients a day just to stay open. You know, so it is at it's at a tipping point now where we need to look at doing the right technique for the right clients, and to look at you know, trying to be financially successful, because if you're not, you won't. So my first obligation in my business is to make money so that I can pay my staff. I have to make a profit so that I can pay my staff. If I don't make a profit, I can't pay my staff. I can't pay my bills. I can't pay anything, and my business will close down. So my first most important thing is that I make a profit, or I will not be open. Okay, so that's the first most important thing. Okay, and I'm seeing it in America. I'm seeing it on the page. And so many people are like, they're in suites on their own, and they're now spending like 7 hours doing one client's hair, using you know, and they're not making any money. There's nothing left, and we've gone through this whole stage of just, so there's you know, there's many different ways of approaching things. And if someone is looking for a perfectly fine, balanced, perfect head of highlights, you know, sometimes the cap is the way to go. Sometimes, like I just did with the front of this girl's hair, I did a face frame here, I did a face frame here, I did a face frame here, the rest is brown, on to the next head. And my salon, I spend 2 hours with most clients maximum. I do 4 to 5 a day. I do them every day. I'm booked out till March. I base my prices on 4 to 5 clients a day and what I need to do to stay open. If it was one client, I wouldn't be open. Okay, I wouldn't be open. Now, if you can afford to do that, if you can afford to charge them 600 or 800 or 1,000, that you'd have to charge them for to stay open if you were in a business, well then brilliant. If you can do that, that's fantastic. But it's not viable. So we do need to protect our industry and protect our salons and look at different things. You know, I've learned this. I was that person back to blonde. See, you start to want, and you think about the photographs, and you think about, you know, the black roots and the silver ends and the, you know, all this type of stuff. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with beautifully commercial hair if you hit the focal points well and you do something well. If you want to create shapes like we did in Nicole, then you use your foils and stuff like that. But if you're doing a perfectly symmetrical balanced set of highlights, maybe the cap's the way to go. And if you have to melt out, if you're spending 5 hours hand painting somebody's hair and then you have to put a melt on afterwards to try and take all the lines out, well, if they were looking for something fine and balanced, maybe you could have done a cap highlight, and maybe you could have put a different colour melt on the root to take the lines out and put a brighter one on the ends, like go in with a 7 on the root and then go out into a 9. You can create something beautiful there because we have the products, we have the demi-permanents. So I think we're going to, like, next year we're going to look at lots of different different approaches and different ways of doing things. But just what we did tonight with Nicole, you know, you can do face frame, 2 sections on either side, leave the rest alone. Boom, she's leaving the salon in 45. You'll spend 45 minutes doing that, maybe an hour maximum, you know, or, you know, if something's relative, you know, that you need to be able to make money. You need to be able to do quite a few clients, or whether you're self-employed or you're employed, you won't survive. And there was a lot to be said for those golden eras where you were doing, so we're gonna have a go at a cap and a melt in the new year. I used to do them with really thin plastic. I was really brilliant at them. So I didn't use a cap. I used to use them at really. So I've been talking about this for ages. So I'm gonna have a pop at one in the new year because the wonderful thing about the community is that we have people on the page who are 45 years in hairdressing, and when they tell you they've seen it all, they have seen it all. And if they tell you that they do this type of technique and it works and they're still making money behind the chair and they're still employing people and they're successful, those people have our respect here. We respect everybody. Hiya Sylvie, I was talking about you earlier about how wonderful you were for creating this little community and allowing us to be under the umbrella of Wella. So that's the lady I was talking to you about earlier, guys. So you can thank Miss Sylvie Moreau. She and her team are the reason we are here in a Sunday service every week. She's the reason. So do look at different. There's a different technique for every different approach, but to try and be successful. I used to file my hook down. I used to use a 1 or a 1. I used to use a 75, a 1 or a 125, and then on the side of a matchbox I would file it down, Karen, and just take the top off it so it would but it's important that you're profitable. It's important that you make money and keep your salon open. It's important that you make money. It's the first thing you must do when you're in your business. You're welcome, Marta. It's nice to show you guys a few different techniques, and it'd be nice if you can all spend a day. It's faster. Like there's nothing wrong in the golden days. And it was great for Wella. It was great for us. It was great for everyone. We were using loads of products. We were doing loads of clients, and everybody was making loads of money, and it was terrific. And what's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? You don't have to spend 8 hours doing one client just to get a certain picture and then not be able to charge her. You know, I agree. It's just different in every country. There are so many cowboys. You know, it's so different in every country, but can you do well? You know what I'm going to work on, Tracy, is I'm going to work on a cap with a backcomb balayage. Okay, so I'm still working on this in my head, and I think we'll do a Sunday service in Lanzarote talking about it. You know, that we can do it that way, and the way you tone, you know, and I would always how you put conditioner on before you take the packet off so it slides off easy. So there's lots of different ways we can do this type of thing, but there's always the right technique for the right person. So remember what we showed you tonight, the face frame, okay? the face frame here, and how easy it is to follow that box section. How easy it is to follow that box section. How easy it is to follow that box section. You're done in an hour, and it will be amazing. She'll never have a better head of highlights ever in her life. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you're looking to create shapes or you're looking to create movements, you have to use foils or you have to use wraps or papers. There's new papers coming forward, you know, and that there's a different look for everybody. But I do think that there's some of the old school techniques are going to come back, just because we have to look at you know, people want different things, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I had another story tonight, but I'm going to keep it for you. I'll keep it for you till over Christmas, because my dad's story was enough. Was enough for anybody on toning hair. I did a whole Sunday service on toning Michelle before, but I'll do another one. And my one tip for toning Michelle is I like a level 9. I think a level 9 is the best. Morning, Sherry from Australia. Great to see you on. I hope you're keeping well. Great to see you on. Thanks again for coming on, having your coffee with me. Hiya, Leo. Great to see you on, sir. Is that I like to tone at a level 9. I think a level 9 is the perfect tone. It's not too bright. It's not too dark. The hair's not too damaged. And I like a 916, particularly myself personally, or a 9.8 or a 10.8. I think there's all the people that tend to reach for. There is a huge movement of level 10 snow white hair, particularly on a lot of the Instagram accounts. It's a bit like trying to create the uncreatable. You know what I mean? People are always trying to bypass reality because they're trying to make money. They're not. There's no money in them telling you the truth and saying most hair will break, you know, if you try to bring it past a certain level, because it's made up of, you know, edomelanin or phelomelanin, and there's no keratin left. There's no money in them telling you that. They want to tell you that you can bleach every hair snow white no matter what it is, and come to my class in Baltimore and blah blah blah. That's what they want to do, you know, and they, you know, that's it's a business for those people. But for me, and from my experience from people I've gone to see, Tracy Cunningham or any of some of the great Wella Ambassadors, or even Lucy, and they tend to lighten to just the right level, and then they do the rest with their toning, and they prepare the hair properly, which is always pH balance the hair right. Use Blonde or Sealing Care, or use post service, or the new Colour Motion 30-second post, or you have the Magma post. Your blonde or post, but you really need to drop, you know, to drop the balance down, to bring the pH back down so that you can tone perfectly and tone properly. For me, level 9 is the sweet spot, you know, because it just leaves the right amount of tone. It just gives me the right amount of shine, you know. That's how I like to do it, you know. So think about the things, and I think that, you know, hairdressing isn't just about, you know, doing one client for 7 hours. You know, it can be a business, and can be an exciting and profitable business, and you can really enjoy it. It doesn't have to be that hard. And if you're not the best balayage artist in the world, it doesn't mean you can't be super successful. You can, okay? You can be super successful. I'm not the best balayage or the artist in the world. I wish I was. But I can do really great looks in 2 hours and charge quite a lot of money for me. And I'd much prefer to do that and have my salon open than try to do something that was going to take me 7 or 10 hours. I love that, and there's a place for that, and if I have the time for it, I charge for that. But you have to be able to work, you know, you have to be able to work with realistic timings for your client, instead of just the pendulum swang all the way to like 7 hours with one client. Now let's bring it back to something a bit more normality, and get back to using, you know, to have plenty of clients in your salon, plenty of products being used, and Wella loves to hear me saying that, and plenty of money in the till, and that everybody gets paid and everybody goes home, because it is a business. And I see so many people doing 7 and 10 hour jobs there, and I know they've gone home and made less than they would make in a normal job, and they'll end up giving it up, you know. And that's just not the way it. You've got to be successful. You've got to do the looks, and by doing what I showed you tonight, you can create a pure focal point, done really quickly, sectioned really well. You don't have to be putting anything back there. You don't have to be putting anything anywhere. I'll put up, if you look at the post I put up tonight, you can see how quick it can be done. Sectioning shapes, zigzag, focal point, colour on, take it off, tone it with relights. She's out the door. Boom, it's done. It's gorgeous. Next client's in, you're busy, everybody's successful. It's a really, really good thing. I don't, and me, Heather, I don't want to spend 7 hours with anybody. You know what I mean? I don't want to spend, I find bleach ups are the longest. All bleaching and service should never take longer than, I think it's 56 minutes on the button, Tracy, so you're exactly right there. How you doing, Jackie? You're exactly right there. I think it's 56 minutes is the exact, a bleach shouldn't be on for any longer than that ever. So it's the exact thing. But it is about, it's about visually seeing things and working the face shapes, creating focal points. If you're doing wraps and you're using foils, then you should, it should really work out for you. It should really. I think most people, they take it off after 56 and then they go back in again. Salas, I think they just comb it off and reapply it. I'm not quite sure, but that's about the average. But bleach ups are the longest I want to spend with a client, because the bleach ups can, after toning and then you're doing your sealing care, they're in the salon for quite a long time, and you can lose money on them. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with spending that long of time with each client, and if you can make money from it and you can be successful, that's brilliant. But not all of us can just do that. So it's important to not feel there's anything wrong with being successful and being profitable and trying to do things. Yeah, that's what you do, reapply. That's what most people do. Some people don't tend to rinse it, they just take it off and reapply. I think after that it's kind of dead anyway, and I'll get the exact measurements from the scientists, Yeah, I think I mean to apply. I'm not quite sure. It's an interesting question. I'd love to find out the exact answer, and I know the very person to ask. We had a wonderful scientist, John Lalkoff, who put up a post the other day that Pamela put up about being able to remove certain direct dyes and certain colours with 10-O's and Colour Touch, 10-O's and Colliston. And John gave the exact pigments that you can remove it with and the exact pigments you can't. It was Pamela put it up, and I'd like to thank John. He's a wonderful scientist who works in Darmstadt for Wella. I'd like to thank John for taking the time for doing that for us. I didn't post it for a while because I was waiting for the right moment till a couple of direct dye posts went up, and it did. I'd like to thank John for doing that for us. And guys, I won't be on next Sunday, and then I will be on from Lanzarote. I'm not sure how it's going to work yet or what day it's going to work. But John's such a lovely man, and he'll be the one to ask about stuff like that, because he knows exactly. He's the one who tests all this type of stuff, and he's a big fan of all you guys here in the community. He follows the page avidly and loves it, and he's a great guy. So I'm not sure when the next Sunday service will be, but next Sunday. But I might come live from the salon a couple of times next week. I might tell you my other butterfly story. I might come live. So. If I'm coming live, I'll just let you know. I want to thank everybody. I have a huge appreciation for everyone who comes on Sundays and helps me create these things, and we help. I'll be on, Martha. Don't worry, I won't be going anywhere. I have some great little stories, and I'll be in the shop. I'll be in the shop. I'll have even more for you then when I'm coming back on. But I'd like to thank everybody in the community. For posting and for helping each other and for sharing their wins and for picking me up and for helping each other and for sharing. It's a terrific thing. I will definitely come on live before Christmas, for sure. As I say, I'm working every day. Hiya Debs, how's it going? How are you, babes? But I've such huge appreciation for everybody who's helped to make the page what it is this year. It was hard to believe that we went over 20,000 so quick, and I have such appreciation for everybody who's such a part of it, because it's really, really amazing. There's some days I have to just step back and it's great. It's great to share your wins. It's great to share your advice. It's great to. There's Deborah. Deborah's still got it, by the way, guys. If anyone's got it, that Deborah Poole's got it, And it's just a wonderful thing to be able to be a part of, to be a part of this, and to show that we can keep it classy. It doesn't have to be always about people, having a go at each other and trying to win. We're not here to win. We're here to learn. We're here to help each other, and we're here to be we're all hairdressers. We're all part of the community together, and it's just you know, I try my best to lead from the front, and most of you guys, if I don't do it, sometimes if I'm not there for half an hour when I come on, you guys are always so classy and great with your answers, and again, thank you to Wella for allowing me be myself this year, for getting behind me. I like to keep it. I keep it lit. I keep it lit, Debs. Long week ahead. You'll have to listen to me moaning, Debs. I'll be moaning by Friday like you wouldn't believe. I'll be moaning. I'll be so tired. You know, I'll be moaning. And but again, there's so many people I want to thank. There's so many people who have made the it's the best for me. It's the best it's the best here on wrong side of the Atlantic are the best community pages on by a mile. And it's an honour, I have to say, it's an absolute honour to be able to come to you on a Sunday and to help a little bit, and for you to come on and help me too. So, mucho love as we step into the busiest week of the year for hairdressers. This is the busiest week of a year. Next time I will try to remember to take pictures. Yes, remember, if you ask a question and you don't take pictures and you don't post, it's not really fair. You know, because somebody helps you, you need to help them back, and you need to pay it forward. It's just it's what makes it work. You know, hi Geraldine, and congratulations on your MCE, Geraldine. And yeah, that's about it, guys. That's really about it. As I say, I'll be on during the week for quick lives and quick. So I wanted to come on live from the basin yesterday because I did this background 936. 903 and 80, and then I did the highlights through it, and it was the most perfect oyster beige. But I didn't think it would be fair to just put her head on the live, you know, without asking her. But it was the most beautiful oyster beige. So if you're looking for a really beautiful oyster beige and you're looking for a background colour, try 936, 903 and 80 in the colour touch. It's a when it's wet, it's just got that real 60s awesome oyster beige to it, and then the blondes just kick through it. And you put it on as a background now, not as a toner, so put it on in between the packets. Solid head of zigzags, and away you go. Beautiful. I couldn't recommend it enough. It's absolutely gorgeous on a base 7-up. Okay. Thanks, guys. So many is on earlier for staying on and hearing the story about my wonderful dad and his nerves of steel, and teaching me the lessons that I have stayed with me for a lifetime, and that I'm debt free because of it, because of that man, and because of that tough lesson cycling up that hill that morning with the rain hitting my face, and I wanted to kill him. But he's taught me a lifetime of, it's a perfect oyster beige. He's taught me a lifetime of how to live within your means and to be happy to do it, you know. And if your means is a private jet, that's okay. And if your means is a small car, that's okay. As long as you're happy, don't let anyone tell you how much money you have to earn. That you'll be happy if you have $1 million in the bank. If you can feed yourself and you can take care of yourself and you can self-care and you can mind yourself, that's good enough, okay? Don't let anyone tell you that you have to earn this and that you have to earn that and you'll be happy. I've so many wealthy people who come to me in the salon and they were born with money or they have money, and after a couple of years, it doesn't make any difference, okay? It doesn't make any difference. So, you know, be happy with if you're happy with the amount you earn, that's great. If you're not happy with the amount you earn, that's great too. Go ahead, get another job, do what you have to do. Yeah. But you have no money, so you're free. You know, like a Buddhist, Tracy, you're like a Buddhist. All possessions, you know, everything you own ends up owning you if you don't pay for it yourself. If a bank pays for you, you don't own it, it owns you, and you can't be free to do the things you want to do in life. So be very, very, very comfortable with if you're happy with what you're earning, well, that's great. You know what I mean? And if that's a private jet, that's great. And if that's getting a flight on Ryanair and getting out and going somewhere and having a great weekend, that's great too. Everything's great, just live to your own means. You know, stay in your own lane. Don't be looking left or right at what other people are doing. Stay in your own lane. The only person you're competing with is yourself, and the only thing you want to create is your own happiness, okay? That's the only thing. And if you create your own happiness, everybody around you will be happy too. And if you work on yourself and work on your emotional and happiness, you'll probably find yourself in a good place. Okay, love to you all, guys. Again, such deep appreciation for everyone for this year. It's been such a hell of a year on the page, hard to believe. And again, just one little hint: if you invite your friends, if they don't answer the questions, they won't be getting into the page, because we have to protect the members that are here to keep the group deeply supportive and a special place. There's a lot of free education on this page that you wouldn't get on other pages, like stuff that we do on Sunday service, giving stuff away that would cost hundreds, maybe thousands at groups. So if they're not able to answer two really easy questions and just agree to the rules, but then I don't think they deserve to be here. You know what I'm saying? So if you invite your friends, tell them to answer the questions, agree to the rules, and they're in. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. But I can't afford to be bringing people onto the page who are not going to be a part of the community. So it's very important to make sure that they answer the questions. Okay? Love to you all. Have a great evening. My little one is going to be watching X Factor, the bands, tonight. She's up for the girls. I don't know if any of you know what X Factor is, but for her, she's 10 years of age. It's the greatest thing to slice bread. Even though, yeah, always Alice, always thank you, sir, for being on. And it's the best thing in the whole world, so I enjoy watching it with her. So she'll be coming home now to watch it, and I will come on later and I will answer all the questions I possibly can. And thank you again, everybody. I have huge love for you all. God bless. Have a good evening. Thanks for all the loves, Martha. It's great to have you on. Thanks to everybody. And I love the people who are, 45 years in hairdressing, and I love the people who are 4 or 5 months in hairdressing, It's amazing. That's what community is all about, and we're so lucky to have it. Thanks again for your support this year. As I say, there'll be no Sunday service next week, but I'll be on during the week. Remember that this education was given to you, so if you can, if you use something that I've showed you, to tag me on the page and to tag the Wella family and to tag the fact that you that you've used it in the salon and that you've made money from it, because until you do it behind the chair and somebody actually pays for it, it's not real. It is just not real. But if you do it behind the chair and somebody goes, I love that, and they pay for it, that creates value in your life. And that is the most important thing, is to create value behind the chair, okay? Because then you can pay your staff and you can pay everyone. You can buy products and you can buy Blonde or Seal and Care. You can buy all that stuff. There's few new products coming in the new year, which I can't mention yet, but I can tell you there's some exciting products coming from Wella. I will say no more than that, but I've seen a few things and you guys are going to be like, whoa! There's some amazing stuff coming, so just after Christmas we get looking, and tag me if you do any of the techniques, or tag me on a face frame, or tag me on stuff like that. God bless. Thank you guys. Take it easy. Take it easy. Shay Dempsey is coming live from his salon in LA tomorrow, so I'll have it up on the page. Make sure to watch it. Shay's a good friend of mine and we worked together for many years, and that will be a hell of a Facebook Live, me and Shay. Good night, Salas. Thanks again. Good night, Gina. As I say, it's going to be a long week, but I'll pop on every now and again doing stuff, okay? And then the next live will be probably from Lanzarote, and I'll bring my little kit here with me, and maybe I'll have Nick here and I'll have Tracy here, and they'll be like that, wah, 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 wah. Or I'll just let Tracy and Nick, and I'll stay behind and have a drink. And but yeah, we'll have Nick and we'll have Tracy. We'll just have to find a good broadband signal. That'll be a bit of fun, and maybe we'll do up a list of questions that you'd like to ask Tracy, a list of questions you'd like to ask Nick, and a list of questions that you'd like to ask me, and then have to answer them. How does that sound? So the questions can be whatever you want, as long as it's like, it's going out live, but that you can, they'll have to answer the questions that you asked them. Honestly, that could be a good one, couldn't it? We could call that the hot seat. The hot seat, and you could really, really ask them tough questions or whatever. Who was their first love and all that. If you ask me, it could go on for days, So think about that. That'll be a good bit of crack, wouldn't it? That'll be a good bit of fun. And love to you all. I like the sound of that. Yeah, terrifying. I know what I'd ask you, Tracy. I know what I'd ask you. You'd love it, babes. You'd love it. I'd protect you, Trace. I'd protect you. So we could do something like we do a hot seat. We could do stuff like that. We'll have some fun through the holidays. That would be great. Love to you all. Talk to you soon. Enjoy your holidays. And God bless. Keep Dave off. So yeah, careful now, Dave. Careful now, Dave. Love you all. Love you, Trace. Thanks for all the great questions during the year. Martha, thanks for the support. Heather, there's so many. Karen, Nick, thanks for everybody who comes on. Ollie, the list could go on and on. I'll actually make a list over Christmas. I feel like I know yous all, like I work with yous. Love yous all. God bless. Take it easy. See you on the other side. Best of luck in the busiest week of the year. Just keep your head down. Do one client at a time and nail each one. Love to you all. God bless. Wella love, baby. Wella love.